Hey, this is Chris. Now, by now you've probably heard about this Wall Street versus Reddit saga that's been playing out on apps like Robinhood in the US and via stocks like GameStop, AMC, and other heavily shorted names. The narrative behind this has been the little guy taking on Wall Street. Thousands of anonymous people on Reddit buying up near worthless companies and holding them with diamond hands with the idea of sending their share prices rocketing higher and inflicting as much pain as possible on Wall Street. Now, for those of you who do believe it's about the little guy versus Wall Street, I have a couple of questions for you. The first one is, why target hedge funds? To me, it seems like a very strange outlet for this anger. After all, hedge funds have actually been suffering and seeing outflows for the last 10 years since they last performed well during the financial crisis. If anything, the focus and attention should be on the investment banks that have done well since the financial crisis, who received bailouts by the government and backstops by the government, but ultimately have been profiting from society ever since, while the costs of those bailouts were borne by everyone. Hedge funds didn't receive any of those bailouts. The second question I have is, how is the little guy actually getting helped out here? I haven't so far seen any stories of people that have made a lot of money out of this who are then giving back to society or putting that money to good causes. To me, it smells a lot like the next generation of risk takers wanting to get involved in making money and not missing out. This is really just another story of FOMO. For me, what this is really about is the next generation of risk takers wanting to make money in a world where the other alternatives are rather limited. In the late 1990s, I remember as a young trader back then, this playing out through people pumping up IPOs of tech stocks. But these days, tech stocks, or at least most of them, are very large, successful businesses and a lot harder to manipulate. So instead, the focus and attention has been on these near worthless businesses that are much easier to pump and dump. The real lesson, I think, here is in improving access to trading and democratizing access to markets, which apps like Robinhood have done. They have a responsibility to actually educate their users. The GameStop episode really highlights this false belief that trading is a legitimate and sustainable way to grow your wealth, when in fact the evidence says the opposite, that trading doesn't help you generate wealth because by the very nature, with every winner out there, there has to be a loser. Trading is a zero-sum game, and unfortunately for most people, it's much more likely to lead to addiction and losing money than it is to gains and profits. Ironically, the real winner out of all of this has been Wall Street. The share prices of companies like Goldman Sachs have been booming because all of this retail activity in trading now gives them more profits. It gives them opportunities for proprietary trading, for IPOs and secondary deals, and for brokerage. Ironically, they have been the big winners out of this episode, and so if you really are trying to inflict pain on Wall Street, the last thing you should be doing is trading and buying and selling, and what you should be doing is what has been inflicting pain on Wall Street for the last 10 years, which is buying index funds and doing nothing.